back. That was better. Hi, everyone. Since I'm already here, that was convenient timing. Thanks for the intro. We're going to be doing some speeches throughout the meal tonight. So whenever someone up here is speaking, you're welcome to keep eating, but if you could put a pause on your conversations until they're finished, that would be great. To kick things off, I'd like to invite the bride's parents, Wayne and Sue, up to the podium.
I can go up there again right now. Like something up. What do you want me to talk about? I need glasses.
Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Wayne Calder and I'm Sarah's dad.
I'm Sue Calder, Sarah's mom.
My name is Wayne Calder and I'm Sarah's dad. Shortly, my wife and I are going to be giving our speeches, but at the end of our speech, we're going to have a toast. So for either of these reasons, you may likely want to get a drink or two.
They're all set. They're all set? They're all set.
Okay, welcome everyone. I hope you're enjoying yourself so far. Don't worry, things will get better when we're finished. Thank you to our wonderful family and friends for coming here tonight to celebrate with us Mark and Sarah's wedding. You're a big reason why their wedding is so special. We wish to thank Cousin Bonnie for making her way from Barrie to perform the wonderful wedding service. Bonnie, we were just thanking you for coming down from Barrie to perform the wonderful wedding service. We'd also like to thank Sue's sister, Mark. Okay. For providing the sound system, the music, and the decorations for today's wedding. Also, a thank you to the staff here at Puttycombe. What a great meal and service you have provided for us. Thank you. It has also been a great pleasure for Sue and me to have had the time to meet and get to know Mark's parents, Michelle and Joanne. We look forward to continuing to see more of the Curians. Mark, you are a testament to your wonderful parents. Over the past few years, I've come to know two Marks. You see, the first I met at school, that was School Mark, and then I happened to meet Boyfriend Mark. School Mark began his first teaching assignment at my school. I could tell early on that Mark was very, very new to teaching. You see, when I asked him how he teaches French immersion, he told me that it's when you take a student and hold them underwater until they could speak French. After explaining to Mark some of the possible problems with this idea, Mark begged me to be his mentor. We hung around together quite a bit at school. We'd make Tim runs, talk through our work periods, and threw the football around at recess. There was also quite a bit of joking around, too. One day, Mark and I noticed this phone beside us in the corner of the staff room. we got this idea that it would be fun to have staff members page just as they were sitting down to enjoy their lunch. It was great watching these frustrated teachers reluctantly get up and leave their lunch to answer a non-existent phone call. Oh, and by the way, if you're thinking of trying this, the most you can do this before ticking off the secretary is 4 times. This is the Mark I knew at school. But then our relationship seemed to change. We began having these awkward, kind of short conversations. It was like having a conversation with your proctologist. It was as if something had come between us, and that something was Sarah. Now I had to get used to boyfriend Mark. I could see early on that Mark was very interested in Sarah. As time went on, I could see that Mark really cared for Sarah. Then most importantly to me, I could see that Mark respected her. And it was at this time our conversations were not awkward anymore. As a father, you want to pick the perfect person for your daughter, and that would be you, Mark. Today, we get to welcome this amazing person, Mark Curia, to our family.
From the time I met Mark, when he and his brother Phil, when they were working on the renovating the house on Wellington, before Mark ever met Sarah, I was impressed by his many great qualities. He has such an admirable work ethic. He worked all day at school and then worked all night and weekends on the house in Wellington. I admire Mark's honesty. He doesn't sugarcoat anything or exaggerate. He says it as it is, and you know you can believe every word he says. He has a great sense of humor. Wayne shared many a story about his conversations with Mark at school and had me laughing in tears. One of my favorite lines Mark said to Wayne was, "I said I was going to blow him up, so I blew him up." If you don't know that story, you can ask Mark about that story. I could go on and on about his wonderful qualities, but the one that stood out recently was his ability to plan and follow through to get things done. And this all started when he approached us about wanting to propose to Sarah back in May. He started out with the most creative idea of asking Sarah to marry him on the rooftop of the hospital where she works. He went through the process of contacting the necessary people at the hospital, but in the end it was a no. Something tells me he's had problems with security in the past. Mark's backup plan was to come to the cottage with us that weekend and propose to Sarah at a special place on the Seguin Trail after riding with Sarah on her ATV. Unfortunately, the ATV would not start that morning. Shortly after, it started to rain, so the dock was not a good spot. Mark was undaunted by all these setbacks, and when Sarah was out of earshot, he quickly said to us, "I'm going to book us into a restaurant in the Deerhurst. I don't care what it costs." He made arrangements to eat at the Amber Steakhouse, and he booked the last room at the Deerhurst. The plan was that he would just tell Sarah he's taking her out to dinner, and then later on a walk, he would propose and take her to the Deerhurst. Wayne, Michelle, Mark, and cousin Paula, and Mark, and I would bring her things to the Deerhurst later that evening. We all loved his plan. At about 7 o'clock, we get a text. "It's Sarah." We anticipated her good news, but instead, she's concerned that Mark is acting weird. He's distracted, and he's on his phone a lot. She is confused and wondering what's going on. We made excuses for him, for she was soon to be swept off her feet. Mark had arranged with the Deerhurst to have the gazebo by the water to propose to her. It was perfect. The following week, Mark had them booked in here at the Puttycombe for the wedding, and soon they purchased a house here in New Hamburg to start their life together. Mark is certainly a man who knows what he wants, and he gets things done. As parents, I know we're a little biased, but okay, I'm gonna cry. But our Sarah has always impressed us ever since she was little. From her confidence as a 6-year-old on the balance beam, to her compassion for others as a nurse. From her courage as a 15-year-old traveling on her own to live and go to school in Germany for 3 months, to her thoughtfulness and giving nature when her friends had a birthday or a baby. From her athletic and academic performance in high school, winning her and Auburn the highest award at grade 12 graduation. To her grit, determination, and adaptability when she needed to train as a nurse in Owen Sound and Parry Sound, and did so living some of that time at the cottage and having to stop her car on the back roads for the bears to cross. From her wisdom with money, just like her Grandpa George, to her sense of humor, like when she says to Mark, "If I do this favor for you."
It reminds me of Wayne. I know that. Sorry, well, sorry, Wayne.
Sarah, Dad, and I want you to know that not only do you look so stunning today, but we are so proud of you and the woman you have become, and you are so deserving of a lifetime of happiness.
We're just on page 6 here, episode 12. So they were very happy memories indeed of Sarah. But you know, there were some not so proud moments of Sarah that, well, we'll just keep between us 150 people. In fact, one moment in particular gave us a lot of great concern. One day we noticed that a couple of Sarah's Barbies had their heads cut off. Was there some kind of satanic rituals that she was performing on the Barbies? Should I consult a psychiatrist? I don't know, I just kind of lost. Finally, I gave up trying just to analyze the problem, decided to simply ask Sarah, why were you cutting the heads off your Barbies? And she simply answered, so that they could become boy Barbies. Now, I don't think there's anything to worry about here, Mark, as long as you can resist dressing up as a Barbie. And second thought, maybe you have something you might have to. Another memory I have of Sarah was at Easter. Being the good sister, Sarah would gladly divide up her Easter treats with Michelle. Wouldn't you know it, Michelle would end up with the coloring books and crafts, while Sarah would end up with the delicious chocolates and candies. Now, Mark, I know you probably haven't seen this side of Sarah before. These times when she doesn't like to share, or when she doesn't like to do certain things. Well, I have something for you I think will really help you. It's the Sarah Manual. Mark, this should really help you understand our daughter. And whatever you do, don't lose this. First of five. Yeah. All kidding aside, Sarah, you have always graced me with so many happy memories. I cherish the many walks and hikes we took with you as a baby in your snuggly. I loved our times that we spent at Grandma's Beach when time stood still and we could just watch you play in the water and build sandcastles. It's also been remarkable watching you look after my dad, Grandpa, at the hospital. I was so impressed with the way you knew what Grandpa needed and you simply did it. You would get Grandpa out of bed and walking when no one else could. Sarah, you're amazing.
We ask you now to join us in a toast to Sarah and Mark. May they live a long and happy life together.
Wait, Sue, get up here. You can do your thing.
You're gonna need to touch her up. Thank you, Wayne and Sue. That was lovely. Our next speakers typically hate it when I call them by their first names. But for the first time in their entire lives, I make the rules. So, without further ado, can the parents of the groom, Joanne and Michelle, please make their way to the podium.
Oh boy, oh boy. Hello, I'm Michelle, Mark's father. I kind of like that. That's good. All right. It seems that speeches involve either roasting, and I'll leave that to his siblings and friends, or toasting, which is what I plan to do, or boasting, which is what his mother mainly plans to do. I would like, first of all, to thank you all for being part of this very special day for our family. A special welcome to John and Jane Olette, Joanne's brother and sister-in-law, who came all the way from Victoria, BC, along with their beautiful daughter, Laura, and her guest, Richard. I would also like to welcome my brother Jacques and sister-in-law France, along with their wonderful children Vincent and Sarah, who have traveled from Terrebonne, Quebec. Sarah was today's flower girl, by the way. I would also like to welcome some of Mark's and Sarah's friends, Mitch and Jenna, who came from Kelowna, BC. Love you too, Mitch. Jonathan Tingling, who came from London, England. Jonathan. Here's John. Oh yeah, here he is. And Eric Selly, who came from Beijing, China. Come on. This is like an international wedding, guys. I'm sorry. Now I turn my attention to our son, Mark. As you can see, Mark is a manly man. He usually wears a beard. He loves fast cars, shooting guns, building things, playing all kinds of sports, and enjoys the occasional beverage. However, I believe that it might be his soft side that won him Sarah's heart. I'm guessing you might be surprised to hear that Mark actually has a soft side. Because he comes from such a tough family. You see, nobody cries in our family. I can't remember the last time I saw Joanne cry. No, I can't, no. So anyway, 2 years ago, my mother-in-law, the Honorable Sally Olette Bowman, had another heart attack. She ended up in the ICU unit at Grand River Hospital. And Sarah was one of her attending nurses. Oblivious to his grandmother's master plan, Mark was coming to help feed his grandmother supper each day after work. What a nice thing to do, right? Lovely. One evening, when Mark was there, Sally pretended to need assistance and rang her call button for Nurse Calder. What a deviously clever thing to do, Sally. That's when the magic began. The rest is history. Sarah, Joanne, and I are very happy to welcome you and your family in our family. But first, I really need to thank your parents. Sue and Wayne, you have raised a very special young woman. Thank you. Sarah, you are an amazing, independent woman. You are smart, loving, caring, funny, and like Mark, you enjoy an occasional refreshment as well. The two of you are a good fit. You complement each other in so many ways.
My turn.
Your turn.
My turn. Hello, I'm Joanne, Mark's mother. And as his mother, I am overjoyed. He was a beautiful baby. I get to do the boasting, so I have the pictures to prove it. Check out the men's washroom door. I mean, just look at him. Although, Mark, there was that short, awkward, braces, acne, hockney hair period. But again, just look at him now. Yeah, now. He was and is a great big brother, a solid and loyal friend, a fantastically loving son and grandson. He was a talented and high achiever at school and at sports. He is now a compassionate and enthusiastic teacher, and he's lots of fun. He has made many smart life choices, but choosing Sarah as his wife, I believe, is the best one of all. And Sarah, I have no doubt that Mark will stay true to form and will be a wonderful husband and partner to you.
Mark and Sarah, you're now a team. Remember to be kind to each other. Be patient and understanding. Don't forget to communicate, which means that Sarah, you do the talking, and Mark, you do the listening. But Mark, do not worry. This will be easy, because it has been proven scientifically that men are outstanding natural listeners. I mean, look at all my friends here, Tom Underwood, Terry Kiefer, all these guys, Ed Dyke, these are all outstanding, like, master listeners. Ask their wives.
I'll pay for this.
You'll pay for that? All right. Don't forget to laugh and always love each other. Do these things and you will have a great recipe for a long, happy, and successful marriage. Let us take a moment to have a toast to the new husband and wife.
Not yet. Yes.
Thank you, Joanne and Michelle. So nice. What are you doing? Oh, Mom and Dad, sorry, forget. I'm at work. This has kind of got me thinking, like, what happens if your kids are just like average at everything? Everyone's all like, oh, they're so athletic and so smart. But what if they're not? Everyone is. I'm kind of curious. I kind of like to go to one of those weddings. Yeah, he's a nice guy, you know? Anyways, we're going to take a break from speeches, and we'll have some dessert and some coffee, and then we'll get back to it. Sound good? Okay.